Colin.
What's up?
Heckin Cool Podcast 2, we made it.
Episode 2. Made it past the pilot.
Yeah, this one I won't be drinking beer with you.
It's fine. I already got started, though.
I'm drinking water. Thank you for bringing this. I'll cheers you. Had a very long night of drinking alcohol last night. Went out to an art show of my buddy, Dave Tevenall. It was amazing art show. Scott Santee, Molt, Monster Steve. Great art show. Great after party. Went over to Old Town Tavern. And then just proceeded to act like I was 22 all night.
Any choice stories from that?
Not really. I think the takeaway is I knew my limit, but I was having too much fun. And I was kind of like, oh, it's the alcohol. I mean, it's the fact that I got to see all of my friends, and I never see half these guys. Some of them live in New York. So it was just the hanging out with everybody. Alcohol was flowing, and I think the choice story is just, I mean, don't drink like that. Just don't drink like that.
Shout out to your wife, though.
Oh my God.
Tell us that story.
Yeah, she held me down this morning. So the weekends are kind of like my time to get up with the kids. I like to put on, random YouTube videos that she cares nothing about, and hang out with the kids and just take that time. Well, she knew I was feeling rough today. She came and bailed me out. Basically said, "Hey, go back to sleep." And it was something that was kind of hard for me to do because I kind of want to be like, "No, I want to help out." But yeah, she absolutely held me down this morning. Let's do a little catch up though. I guess I started with, I went out to the show last night. So it's been 2 weeks, right, since the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been up to in the last 2 weeks?
Felt like the last week didn't even happen. It was one of those things where it was just Monday morning, and then all of a sudden it was Friday afternoon, and it was just...
Well, you saw I had to just ask you. It's been 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we thought about getting on a cadence that was like every week. I know I sent you a message like, hey, it just because so many things I felt like have been happening. I wanted to get in here and talk about it, but nothing major in the 2 weeks.
I made a trip up to Michigan last weekend. It was nice. My wife was having a girls' weekend, and so best friend and I took my kids up to Grand Rapids. They got to hang out with my mom. I got to visit my new nephew. And went and saw the band Thou, which was they're a really fucking heavy band, and that was sweet. And then just kind of, when my kids are with my mom, they're not my kids anymore. So spent most of the weekend hitting all the different breweries up there in Grand Rapids.
No, I caught a bunch of stories on Instagram of you posting the band, and they were stupid heavy. Yeah,
and then they came back at the end. So they're on tour right now with someone named Emma Ruth Rundle. She's a singer-songwriter, dark, folky kind of stuff. I don't know if you remember that band Red Sparrows. They're like a post-rock band. She played guitar in that band.
Okay.
Anyway, she's on tour with them doing a solo set without her backing band, but she came back out on stage, and they, at the very end, they did a collaborative Misfits cover.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what song it was. I don't remember what song it was, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure it was awesome regardless. I mean,
but speaking of wives, today's my 12-year anniversary.
Woo-hoo!
12 years, 16 together.
Very
it's like
nice.
half my dang life. It's crazy.
Yeah, I look forward to getting to that point. I can't imagine getting to that point. Like, do you guys treat your anniversaries the same way? Like, what was the year where you guys were kind of like, all right, this shit is like set in stone. Like, we're doing this, so...
I think the last anniversary that we like really celebrated was the 10th.
Okay.
And I mean, we always tried to just do, like, we went out last night and, went out to dinner, went shopping, went and grabbed a drink, nothing momentous.
Yeah.
It was one of those things, we were talking about it and we were both just like, who's got time?
Right.
Who's got time for another holiday?
Yeah, no, I agree. One thing but this is not related, but one thing that me and my wife do when it comes to our birthdays, because our birthdays are only 3 days apart, we like to celebrate just once and just celebrate both of our birthdays one time. Try not to get any gifts because, I mean, what the fuck? I'm going to get you something and 3 days later you're going to get me something? Right. It's like, that's bullshit. So we used to try and take a trip all the time. Haven't done a trip for the birthday the last couple of years, just because we've had so much going on with the new house and the kid. I feel like one thing after next. We just keep having things going. So I'm gonna catch you up on my week. We got a new dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some serious shit
Yeah,
here.
dude. I have so many things to say. That's why I hit you up and I'm like, hey, are we doing a podcast this week? Because I have shit to talk about. We got the dog, so we picked up an 8-week-old Boston Terrier. When she was 6 weeks old.
Fucking cute.
Just so cute. You know what?
Holy
For the
shit,
video, I'm gonna put a picture up like right here. At 6 weeks old, we learned that she had a really bad heart murmur. Wasn't entirely sure of the magnitude of it because we just had the vet see her. It wasn't like a cardiologist, which it's fucking crazy to say. Like, you got to take my dog to the dog cardiologist. I know, right? So we got her in town, take her to the cardiologist, and it's really bad. She's already in congestive heart failure. And super crazy. Like, she's such a cute little dog. It's like your dog's kind of like your kid. Like, you'll do anything to keep him alive. So we had the heart surgery, which a lot of people think is crazy because I probably could have just bought like a pretty nice used Honda Accord instead, or like a nice Jeep or something. But got the surgery, and she gets her sutures out tomorrow, and she is a fucking different dog. Like, she's amazing, all over the place, raging with my 50-pound, pit boxer mix. Awesome.
So everything is good now.
Everything is good.
Other than healing.
Yeah, no, the fucking crazy shit is like, so she has the surgery on like a Tuesday, and on Wednesday we could bring her home.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really fucking fast. Like, you wouldn't think like, okay, they just went in there and surgeryed my dog. Like, I can bring her home tomorrow. But no, I was able to bring her home the next day. Supposed to keep her, not that active, and instead she just, I can't describe to you. It was like night and day difference. She went from being this like little dog who wants to cuddle on you all day long and sleep and shit to being just a maniac.
Crazy.
She's a maniac, and it was all because this little piece that opens like in utero didn't close, and so she had some crazy shit going on with how it, like, I don't know, it tried to re-oxygenate her already oxygenated blood or some bullshit. I have no idea. My wife followed it a lot more. She's real diligent about that stuff. I just know that I saw I heard the number of how much it was going to cost for this, and I'm like, oh my God. And then they said, yeah, but this is like the one where when we fix it, like, they're fixed. So it was, I feel like that was worth it. If they were going to tell me like, oh yeah, after we do this, your dog's going to live 8 more days, then you gotta really assess that.
Right.
Look, yeah, like, maybe we should humanely put her down, but not a chance. She is a maniac, so love that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to bring her. What I'll do is I'll like bring her to one of these one time.
Do you have another dog too?
Yeah, we got we have June, who's like a 50 or 55 pound boxer pit mix.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so she's a maniac.
Did you get along?
Yeah, no. The day one, you could tell June was like, what is this thing? I'm gonna push it around a little bit with my nose. So as you can imagine, I think the Boston, when she came home, she's like 2.9 pounds. So as you can imagine, like, even June trying to sniff her, she's just pushing her all over the house. But my kids are incredibly attached already, and for whatever reason, Eloise, my daughter, she's 19 months, she just keeps opening the cage and letting the dog out, like, over and over. Like, put the dog in the crate, like, try to separate her and the big dog so she don't try to eat the big dog's food or some shit like that. And she just opens the crate, lets her out. You can't trust kids, dude.
Put a padlock on that.
You can't. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I could do that. Just can't trust kids.
Cannot trust kids.
So what else happened? I feel like I got profiled at the post office. So I know, right? So I go there to mail back a watch. I look over to the right, and this is the dumbest fucking story right now, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. I look over and I see a Mazda SUV, and I go, shit, we were just talking about getting a Mazda SUV.
It's the X5?
Yeah, it's like the X5 or X9 or something, one of them, right? And so I'm like, I'm gonna ask that guy. I don't know why. I was thinking like, I have to ask this guy how he likes his car. So I come out of the post office, I see the Mazda, and I'm like, shit. So he's getting in his car. I start to walk up to him, and I've got on gym clothes. So I've got on like shorts and a tank top and stuff. And, you know, I have tattoos. This guy would not roll his window down. I was like, hey, you know, doing like the fucking international symbol for like, remember when you like cranked your windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like doing that, like, hey, roll your window down. I want to ask you a question about your car. And he just kind of looked at me and fucking put it in reverse and backed out and left. And I was like, holy shit, I think I just got profiled. Like, this is tight. He thinks I'm scary because I have tattoos. I'm like the least scary person.
This is true.
Yeah. Oh, you call me soft?
Yeah.
Like we
soft as baby shit.
We can fucking fight.
It's a weird concept because I feel wrong saying I got profiled because I feel like that undercuts people who actually get profiled.
Absolutely.
But it is, you know, I feel like it's getting better. Obviously, people covered in tattoos are becoming much more socially acceptable.
Yeah.
But I remember, you know, even 10 years ago, walking through the mall and like moms pulling their kids closer as they walked by and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Now I saw a statistic where it was like the percentage of people who have at least one tattoo. I don't know what the fuck it is now. I'll have to look it up, but it was a staggeringly high number. Like, people, just everybody has them now.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think that is still happening. Maybe I just look like a gang member.
Maybe. You made me think of something in your story, and now I totally lost it, but it'll come back.
Yeah, that's
damn it.
Still getting the footing for this whole podcasting thing. We need all that production that some of these podcasts have. We need, like, you know, the screen back here and like
a producer standing off.
We need Kyle. Like, where
somebody sitting in the corner just taking notes.
That's what I'm saying. Taking notes, knowing where we need to, like, you know, bleep shit out. Like when I bleeped out or cut out.
Bleep my mom's name
I
out.
didn't bleep it. I cut the audio out right there so nobody can hear the first name.
That was so funny.
Yeah. So what's funny is Kyle picked that up when we were talking about going to bleep it out, and then sent me a message and goes, "Hey, you forgot to bleep it out." And I was like, "No, I didn't. I just didn't use a bleep." I'm like, "So wait, you didn't notice?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, then that was better than a bleep." I would hate to be like, bleep, like, just, you know, throwing random bleeps in there. But maybe we should do something else. Maybe we should, every time we need to censor something, it's just like, like what's that little slide whistle?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking just like a poop note, like.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. That's just like, that's our way of censoring thing, or like a squealy.
Yeah, or
yeah, but then we're getting out of our element.
No, I know.
Although I do got the Young Jeezy hoodie on today.
There you go.
You see that? You mess with Young Jeezy?
A little bit in the past, not lately. Does he still?
Yeah, this is from the Pressure album. This was the album he released. I want to say it was either 2017 or 2018. I think it's the most recent album. He, for me, is one of the people that changed rap music. I don't know if you feel that way, but the Thug Motivation 101 album is like absolutely a classic, and it really helped, in my opinion, develop that whole like sound coming out of Atlanta at that time. It was just like that. I can hear it. A beat comes on, I'm like, that is a Young Jeezy beat. And I know that he didn't make the beats, but you can do the same thing with forgot the name of who I was trying to think of. There's other people that you can do that with. You can immediately hear that is a beat. I mean, I don't want to say Timbaland, but I mean,
totally
fucking Timbaland.
Or the fact that any rap song on the radio right now, like, it seems like any song is like, oh yeah, 3 6 Mafia changed the game.
Oh yeah.
Every song on the radio right now has a DJ Paul style beat.
That's true.
Think about it.
Yeah, Jeezy, though, for me, like, I don't know why I latched onto him so hard. And my brother is who actually got me hip to Jeezy. He's like, yeah, man, it's who all the thugs are listening to. And I'm like, I was like, word? I'm like, shit, I gotta get this. I mean, not because I was a thug, but just because, like, I don't know why I identify with that music so much. Like, I'm just trapping in my corporate office, I guess. Like, isn't that crazy how you can sit at your desk in your corporate office and you're just listening to, like, just songs about murder and drugs? You just got your headphones in.
It's funny because sometimes I'll, like, when I go to a meeting, I'll forget to press mute I'll stop us. I'll stop this, or no, I'll forget to pause the song in Spotify, but my thing will be muted or whatever, and I'll be sitting in a meeting and I'll be doing something. All of a sudden, it's just like blasting death metal or blasting rap music, and it's just like, oh, sorry, and people are like, how do you work to that? I personally love it.
Yeah, it's relaxing. It's got especially death metal. The faster the death metal, it's like the drums are just humming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you get the double bass, it's so fast, you're not even really getting the lower register. It's just like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you listen to all the time?
I remembered what it was.
Uh-oh.
That was fleeting from your story. I can't even touch this chair.
These microphones are pretty...
No, see, you were talking about old school window
Yeah.
cranks to roll your window down.
Yeah.
I have a Jeep Wrangler, and everything's mechanical, and because the doors come off, so there's no wires that go into the doors, obviously, so there's no power windows. And the first time my son was sitting in the front seat in that, my oldest son, he is almost 11, you look alarmed.
No, I'm not alarmed.
I thought it wasn't recording or something.
No, it's totally recording. I'm just looking at the levels. I'm acting like I know what those levels do.
You don't.
I mean, I kind of do. I read it online. So I know what to look for.
Watched a YouTube video. No, so he's sitting in the front seat, and he's just like looking, and he's like, what is this thing? And I was like, what thing? And he goes, it's like a circle, and there's like a plastic thing coming off it. And I was like, are you serious? And he goes, yeah, what is this? And I was like, it's how you roll the window up and down. And he goes, where's the button?
Oh my
And I
God.
said, no, you take it and you crank it in a circle and look what happens. And it was like, I watched his mind like break. And like, he like was like, does not compute. What is this?
Yeah.
It like blew his mind completely. I can't believe that.
We are those people that say, I remember when. We've become those people. I don't really mind it, though. What I'm hoping to avoid is having Hayden go through his whole life not figuring those things out. He has to understand there's the new way and there's the way that things were. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. My daughter, when we were counting her words for like one of her appointments, she could say like 15 words, right? One of the words she can say is Google. Right. No, that's the era that we live in. Like, that's the time we live in, is that I say Google around her enough that is one of her first 15 words. That being said, I do fucking say Google a lot. Like, I say Google a lot. And it's because we have Google Home Minis, placed throughout the house. And just like every other kid 4 and under, she was obsessed with the Baby Shark song. And so I'd say, hey, and if I say it right now, my phone will probably pick it up and start playing Google, like the Baby Shark song. So I'm not going to say it, but hey, G, play Baby Shark. Boom, it comes on. So she heard me say that so frequently, she would go over to the device that's mounted in the wall and just go, Google, Google, and just try and talk to it over and over. And now she thinks anything is Google. If it's electronic, it's Google. She walks up to like my wife's, Apple Watch, and she just gets her mouth real close and goes, Google, Google. And we're like, yeah, all right, just go ahead. It's somehow really fucking cute that she says Google to everything, though.
It's interesting that, this innate technological generation that is born into it. We had our first iPad when my son was 2.5 or 3, and he just knew intuitively, oh yeah, I want to do something, so I touch it. Yeah. Or I want to go to this page, so I swipe it. He just knew, because it's a interface that is innate to us, essentially. And so it's interesting, when he first started getting into playing more complicated games, he wanted to play games on the computer, and we have an iMac, and he sat down at the computer for the first time and started trying to touch the screen of the iMac.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, buddy, you use a mouse. And he's like, what? And it took him about a week to get the hang of using a mouse. Yeah. Because he had to transfer this to his hand, to this thing, to the pointer on the screen, not just straight from my head to touch it.
Yeah, no.
It's bizarre.
So Hayden's went through the same thing. I mean, your kids play Fortnite, right? We talked about this.
Yeah.
So he loves Fortnite. But he's primarily played it on an iPad where he's holding it, his fingers just touch controls on the screen. There was some kind of local competition that like a lot of the kids were playing in where they were going to do a Fortnite competition, but it was on a computer. He's never played a computer game. So I have a pretty nice computer. I downloaded Fortnite, got him all set up, and watching him try and use the mouse, that to his defense, my mouse is I have it suited like crazy sensitive yeah, I know I'm that guy, but for like art and stuff, like it super precise, like pixel by pixel type shit. And watching him use the mouse to try and control Fortnite and use his finger on the, what is it, the ASDF key or whatever, watching him try and do that, I mean, it was just a nightmare.
Hilarious.
But he got it within a week. I mean, he was way better than I am. And I mean, I've never played any computer games, so I don't know. I think I just skipped computer games in general. Like I went from, PlayStation.
Yeah, I never. My dad was a designer, so we always had Macs in the house, and the game situation was not ideal if you owned a Mac. Right. So it was always console games for me. Yeah,
Macs played catch up for a long time, and then all of a sudden they just became the industry standard. I mean, it's fucking amazing though. When I was in high school, I had a computer science class, and this is crazy because it was called computer science, but you know what we were working on? Apple IIe.
Oh yeah.
With the fucking floppy disk.
Yeah. Big floppies.
Big floppies.
The 5-inch
The
ones.
actual fucking floppy disk that you could wiggle and flop. So we had those, and we had to write all these like little games and programs and shit like that. Kyle had one at home. So he would do all these fucking assignments at home. I would come over, put my disk in, and fucking hit save. Boom. Like, that was the easiest way to copy homework. And then, of course, if they ask me any questions about it, I'm like, yeah, man, fucking letters and shit do things and make stuff happen. I'm like, I know what's going on here in this game that I don't even know what the game is called. Like, Kyle just fucking held me down so hard in high school. We were reminiscing about a lot of that shit last night. That's how it is. Like, I'm sure that's how it is with your friends too. Like, you get together with your old friends that are just your dudes that no matter what, no matter how much time goes on, they're your best friends. You get together, it's like nothing happened, but you find yourself talking about the old days a lot. You have people like that?
Yeah, a little, less and less, because I moved away from my hometown. So I was back there last weekend, and I was just like, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody here, because either people just kind of retracted to home life, or they moved out of the city. So, like my ride or die best friends in second grade, he's a fucking PhD in psychiatry or something, psychiatry or something like that, has a practice down in Tampa.
Wow.
Drives a fucking BMW. So, but I know what you're saying though, like the people that you just immediately pick up with, there's no beef, there's no drama because you haven't talked in a while.
No, absolutely. And to that, like, I don't think I have any friends that I had pre-Kyle. I think Kyle's my oldest friend, and we met just through the neighborhood, maybe like 12, 13, something like that. And that's my oldest friend. I don't have any of my second grade through fifth grade friends. Though I do still remember people's names, which is weird. And my wife will tell you that's weird because I fucking have trouble remembering to get bread, like when I go to the store. Like, I can't remember shit. But I remember people's names from like fourth grade.
Dude, I remember like all of my best friends' phone numbers from like calling them to see if they could hang out.
Oh, hello, Mrs. So-and-so.
Exactly.
Is it? Yeah. So, we've been playing in the local music scene for quite some time. And you started to ask about this, or you said you didn't know the origin of this last podcast. So I'm going to tell this story and bring it into this. Jeff Money.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's the origin of that name. It actually started in 7th grade in Catholic school. It was a Catholic school. There was no gangsters there. There was no anything there. But we had this like small group of like 2 or 3 people who thought they were in a gang. And at the time, I don't know, I was just being an asshole, and I was like, whatever, I'm in a gang too. My gang is Dala Dala, and we used to like, curl our fucking fingers into a D and a D, right? Dala Dala. And it was just us being asshole kids to other kids that were trying to be assholes and like act like they were, in a gang and all this shit in 7th grade. What happened was, it was me, it was this guy named Kevin and a guy named Patrick. And I was like, I'm J Money. Kevin was K Change, and Patrick was P Cents. And so we were like, fuck you, like, we're in a gang too. And it wasn't a real thing. We did it for like a week. It was just like us fucking around as kids. So that goes away. That's 7th grade. I am probably about 18, and I'm hanging out at the Alrosa, and I think...
R.I.P. Dime.
You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Dime. That didn't just kill Dime, it killed the Alrosa.
For sure.
But
anyway.
Yeah, so I think it was Chris Babbitt. Do you remember Chris Babbitt? No? He played in 616 Undone. He played in Me Times 10, was like the band that he was in longest, and Dustin Reinhardt was the vocalist of. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I think maybe during that time you were probably just getting to Ohio and stuff. That's around I was 18.
Yeah. These names all sound familiar because my wife was in your circle.
She knows all of them, guaranteed. Anyway, he goes, "What's up, Jeff Money?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's funny you called me that because," and I told him the 7th grade story.
Whoa.
Yeah, he just called it to me out of nowhere. I think that's really common. I think I've met like 10 Jeff Moneys in my life, or J Moneys. Like that is the fucking generic thing that comes after J when you're trying to be a fake thug to somebody. Like,
so weird.
Yeah. So he says that. I tell him the story. He's like, well, shit, that's your name from now on. And so it fucking stuck. I mean, it really stuck. You're talking going on 20 years of that. I don't know. I don't know how those things happen. Do you have any nicknames?
No.
Why? We need to come up with one. We're gonna have the podcast listeners come up with a name.
I would say no. I mean, if I don't have any nicknames that are like old, for sure. But I mean, like,
do you have some nicknames though?
Yeah, my wife calls me Crawl all the time.
Okay. And I wondered where that came from. That used to be your Instagram name, right?
Yeah, it's coming back too.
Is?
Yeah, because DJ Lunch Meat's getting old.
That had a short run.
It was a fuck you, I'm gonna make that my wife called me DJ Lunch Meat, and I was like, fuck you, I'm gonna make that my Instagram name. No, Crawl actually comes from the movie Son-in-Law, because that's Pauly Shore's name in that movie. You know the movie Son-in-Law.
Okay, damn.
Pauly Shore is like a dude in a dorm room in California, and small town girl goes to college, and her small town farmer dad is really afraid she's going to turn into a hippie, and he goes home for the holidays with her, and hijinks ensue. But his name in that movie is Crawl.
So how did that get related to you though?
So in that movie, the farmer dad can never remember his name, so he calls him Crawl, which is his actual name. He calls him Crap. He calls him Crotch. All this stuff. So it started like we watched the movie 2 or 3 years ago. Actually watched it like a week ago as well. But we watched it like 2 or 3 years ago, and the next day Sierra was calling me in the house. She's like, Colin, Crawl, Crap, Crotch. And it just like, so now if I don't hear her, if she's yelling across the house for me, she'll say one of those names, but Crawl. And then all my friends started calling me Crawl too, just like out of the same thing. So
I'm gonna have to update. I'm gonna have to update the thing on the video that says what your Instagram handle is.
Oh, maybe then I should keep it.
No, you should not keep it. You should go back to Crawl. But you have another kind of nickname, right? Sleepiest Boy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Sleepiest Boy. Tell us about it.
So there's an Instagram account that's funny. A lot of people think it's me. A lot of people think it's me doing an Instagram account, like a secondary Instagram account for myself, which is fucking lame. If I really did that.
That's a bit narcissistic.
And no, so I have a tendency to fall asleep on the couch. I mean,
it's not a tendency. Like,
we're dads.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do it too. It's not a tendency though, because she came with like 20 videos to like that
Well,
was like the grand opening.
So she's got an archive.
Yeah.
And so I'm known to, you know, and I attribute it partly to the fact that my last name is Simula, and we Simulas just fall asleep like my brother can fall asleep anytime, my dad can fall asleep anytime. It's just the way it is. And but I attribute a lot of it actually to being in a touring band, because you learn to sleep in a captain's chair all squeezed up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and for 8 hours overnight at a time, you know, so I learned to force myself to sleep really in any position, in any scenario. So I just fall asleep on the couch all the time. And when I fall asleep, I am belligerent, and I talk some crazy nonsense.
I didn't know that until the Instagram account.
I didn't know that until my wife started taking videos of it. So yeah, my wife had started taking photos and videos, and then it became a thing where everyone started fucking with me, and so my wife started an Instagram account called The Sleepiest Dad. Go follow it. And she just posts photos and videos of me fucking up. And there's, for instance, a couple weeks ago, I fell asleep and she and another friend took an entire basket of clothes and dumped it on me.
Very nice. Did you?
And I woke up 5 hours later.
Oh my god!
With that shit on me, and I was so comfortable.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, was it clean laundry?
Yeah.
Oh well, if it was clean laundry, like that's that's the best, is like clean sheets. You never get a better sleep.
No, but this was like size 6 jeans.
No, that's
like
fine. I guess
jeans.
where I was going with that was like when you get that clean smell and that fresh out the dryer. It's got the dryer sheet popping, the smells all in there. Like it probably just enhanced your sleep. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like ice cubes for a drink.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
But like the other morning, the Friday night, I fell asleep on the couch, and my best friend was at my house, and we he crashed at my place because we got up. I had to take him to the airport at 5 a.m. Get up at 5 a.m, and I can't find my glasses anywhere. And I reach down, I see there's glasses on the coffee table, and they're like my wife's like big giant circle sunglasses. I didn't really think about it, and then because it's 5 a.m, and we get in the car, and my friend's like, "Do you see Instagram by any chance?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, I can only assume that it has something to do with the fact that I couldn't find my glasses, but Sierra's sunglasses were on the table." And of course, I look, and I've got headphones on and big glasses. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Looking very nice.
But yeah, it's a funny account. It's one of those things where I've been kind of resilient lately, so there haven't been a lot of posts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you a coffee drinker?
Big time.
Big time. See, I am too. I don't know why, but as of lately, I've been falling asleep a lot. I used to be. I'm like known for being able to stay up late, and then the whole house goes to bed, and then I go to the gym at like midnight. And
it's the weirdest shit, man.
But it's not. It's like always been me. And then I come home, I shower, I do whatever, I lay down. It's, I don't know, 3:30, and then I catch a couple hours of sleep, go to work. That's just how I've been operating for pretty much my whole life. Things have just been drastically changing. So now it'll be like 6:30, and I'll fall asleep for 3 hours and then wake up and do all that. But I need that extra 3 hours in there I just didn't need before. It's just been it's going downhill, man.
It's funny because you talk to new dads. I was talking to my brother-in-law who my sister just had a baby, and so they're a month in. And he's like, "I'm really tired." I
like how you said they're a month in, like they're serving a sentence.
Yeah.
They're a month in. They still got a little bit of their bid to do.
He was like, "I'm really tired. When does that go away?" And I was like, "I'm sorry to tell you, my friend, it doesn't."
No.
I've been in a perpetual state of being tired for 10 and a half years, since the moment my first son was born. And I mean, I wouldn't change anything.
No.
I don't mind being tired. Fuck it. I'll die someday, and then I'll be asleep.
You'll be.
Oh, that is really
dark. You went super dark.
I went really dark.
But it's okay, because hopefully it doesn't turn super super dark where Sierra actually puts that on the sleepiest dad. It's just picture of you in a coffin, like the sleepiest dad.
The sleepiest dad is every day a picture of me dead.
The same picture. Oh my god. Sierra, if you're listening, don't do that. No, when the account first popped up, I told her that's an amazing account. She shouldn't have just reserved it for you.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
She should not have just reserved it for you, but that's neither here nor there. I think she should have had people submit. Speaking of submit, we need to figure out ways to have people submit things to this. Like I would love to, I'd love to talk about things that people submit, or like they want us to not review something per se, but just give our opinions on stuff. I would love to do that, but only at like local everything level, like local bands from all over the world and local beers.
Local beers.
That's what I'm saying. But
Athens, Ohio.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Just all local shit, and just be able to help promote things like that. But
speaking of nicknames, how about this one? Just because we keep saying my wife's name, the midlife name change. You know how many people only know my wife by Cece?
Really?
Because that's what she goes by. I refuse. I call her Sierra. You know her as Sierra.
I thought that was like just a little nickname. I didn't know that she went by that.
Yeah, it turns out that like a lot of her newer friends, that they just called her that. They just said, it's how they referred to her as Cece, which was cool, and she liked that. And I think it was around when we turned 30. And so 4 or 5 years ago, I'm almost 36. 6 years ago, she was just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try it. I think I'm just gonna like change my public persona to Cece, and we'll see what happens. It doesn't bother her when people call her Sierra.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I'll introduce her sometimes as Cece because that's how other people know her.
Yeah.
But it feels so weird. It feels so weird to say it.
I hear Cece and I immediately think of the pizza. Cece's Pizza. Like,
ugh.
See,
It's a trip to Shitsville is what it is.
it's not for me. It's really not for me. I have this. Everybody knows I am Mr. Pizza. Like, I love pizza. I am all pizza all the time. I've got the pizza tattoo. Have you seen that?
I just noticed it when you were setting up.
It says it's got a hand reaching out of a tombstone, or no, reaching out of the ground, and there's a tombstone that says "Rest in Pizza," because that's how I feel. Pizza. I will allow pizza to kill me. I'm fine with that. Yeah, if you got to go out, like, you might as well be able to pick it. But I have this like motto that I live by, that there's no such thing as bad pizza. There's only better pizza.
That's true.
Yeah, because I mean, you can I'll take a goddamn $2 Tostino's Tombstone or whatever the fuck it is. I'll take one of them like $2 joints, microwave the shit out of it, and I can still eat that.
I'm sure you've heard the pizza sex thing. Like, pizza is like sex. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, no. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But yeah, that's the whole thing, is like, I don't think that there's any such thing as bad pizza. There's just better pizza. So.
Yeah, we're lucky enough to have some really fucking good pizza in this city.
Let's talk about it. We do have a lot of fucking good pizza. And when you say in this city, you're referring to Columbus, Ohio.
It's Central Ohio.
Because I am telling you right now, when I moved to Lewis Center, there is almost no good fucking pizza up there. It is the number one thing I probably complain about is, like, we do Pizza Friday in our household, or we have pizza every Friday. It was so fucking awesome in Columbus. Like, we get it from different places, and there was all these great places to eat from. Up in Lewis Center, it's like, maybe I just haven't found it yet, but for the most part, it's just okay. It's all just okay pizzas. I mean, we have some chains up there. We have like Donato's and Marco's and stuff like that. But
we do a thing in our house. Friday is pizza night in our house too. The kids have come to expect that, but we do a thing where it's a kid gets to choose the pizza that week. So like, it's pretty predictable. Like, my middle son will always choose Domino's, which I can get down with because I got this like $5.99 each thing if you get 3 or more. Good deal.
Same with Marco's has that too. That's why we used to go with that.
Rowan bleeps his name out.
You want me to bleep it?
No, I don't know. You said your daughter's name. Never mind.
I'll bleep all this shit. I'll cut all the names.
My oldest son, my eldest, he always picks Little Caesars. And I'm just like, dude.
Oh my God.
Kills me. I mean, it doesn't kill the pocketbook. I'm happy to say, okay, man, if you really want a shitty-ass $5 pizza that's been sitting under a heat lamp, cool, man.
Well, you can actually go through and... You hear a little feedback?
What?
I heard like a little crackling. Anyway, so Hayden does that. He is fully Little Caesars, but you know what it is? Do you get the cheese dip, the jalapeno cheese dip?
Sometimes.
That is it. That is like the defining thing. That's why he wants to go to Little Caesars. He really does have garbage taste in pizza. I jokingly tell him this all the time. I mean, I mean it, but I'm not saying it to him to be mean. But like, loves Little Caesars. What is that fucking place that used to be at the mall? Sbarro?
Yeah.
They have a freestanding store.
Yeah, it's the one in Clintonville.
Yeah.
That is their pilot for a freestanding store.
So we've been to that. He loves it. I'm straight on that too. I cannot get down with it. I don't know what it is about the difference in pizza. So in Central Ohio, or in Columbus rather.
Sbarro is actually based here. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I do. But what's your like go-to? What's your like top pizza spot? Give me the top one and close runner-up. Do it.
You know where I'm going. Hound Dog's Pizza. I know it's a little taboo right now.
Okay.
Right? Didn't that dude get in trouble?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the story.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. A lot of people don't support him now. I'm with you though, pizza-wise.
The Russell, man. Their house, one of their house pizzas, the Russell, is the fucking shit. It's got chicken and bacon and green onions and all. Oh man, that shit's good.
Okay.
I would say that's gonna be my number one. It's a tried and true.
Okay.
Number 2, coming up, Mikey's Late Night Slice.
Really?
I am so down with Mikey's Late Night Slice. I know they took over. I know it's the cool thing, but it's close to my office. Their standalone one with the bar.
Yeah.
Their first one that they did. It's close to my office. They got their pizza of the week. That's always a different thing.
Yep.
They have a mac and cheese pizza. That's one of their pizza of the week.
The mac and cheeses? Is that what it's called?
No.
No?
Oh, no. They did call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fucking good. But that's the thing is they have the cheeseless crust.
Yep.
Which is, when I say ticket to Shitsville, it is a ticket to Shitsville.
Is it?
But it is the most amazing thing. Imagine this. 2 pieces of pizza that are already finished.
Oh, yeah.
They have cheese on them. They have toppings on them. Whatever 2 you want. Then they put American cheese on it. Slap them faces together so you have and then put that in the oven so you have it's like pizza grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
And it's just so much cheese and garbage. I mean, the American cheese just makes it taste so garbagey in the best way.
Man, you know what?
I feel so stoked about this.
You are super, that's what I was going to say. I feel like I haven't seen you light up like this, and except for when we talked about your first girl pants. You talking about your first girl pants and the mac and cheeses have been the 2 like top moments for
and they
you.
have a half version called the baby cheeses.
I knew that as well. So where I work,
that's my number 2. Hold on real quick. Number 3.
You're gonna give me a third?
I'm gonna give you a 3.
Okay.
Bren's.
See,
Bren's. I know you guys are down with the fucking Bren's.
You stole
man.
my thunder. Bren's is absolutely my number 1. Like I judge everything. You got to have a base, right? And the pepperoni pizza is my base. Anytime I try a new place, I always got to get at least half of it just a pepperoni pizza because you need that base to figure out like where it sits, where it compares to the rest. The loaded pep and cheese from fucking Bren's is literally perfection in the shape of pizza.
My favorite pizza there is the Tres Amigos.
Oh, love that one too.
And we're talking steak, we're talking avocado, we're talking pico de gallo, we're talking some sort of Mexican-y sauce. Something about it. I don't remember what the sauce is on it, but it's like an olive oil base, but then there's like some spices in it or something. But that shit is.
And for what it's worth,
cilantro.
They win some kind of award at the North American Pizza Awards. They win something every single year. I think in 2018, I think it was the Rustica. It might have been like 2017, but that pizza's awesome too. They have so many pizzas that. And they really thought them out. Like some of the pizzas, they get the garnishes and things after, so it's not cooked. Anyway, the loaded pep and cheese is my fucking... I could just be happy eating that pizza forever. It's like 40 minutes from me, though. So I never get it anymore. As where it used to be on the way home, and could eat it pretty frequently.
They deliver to my house.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to fucking stop by on Friday. I'm trying to think.
It's not cheap, though.
I don't give a shit.
But
I mean... that's my... You can hear it in the mic... And you can probably see it on the video. I'm making it rain. That's me just fucking shelling out ones. I don't care. I'm completely fine if I could have pizza like that in my life all the time again.
It's one of my neighbors, like one of my son's best friend's dad. It's like his buddy from college started that joint.
Yeah, I actually talked to the owner sometime because we were in there pretty shortly after it opened, and the guy was like walking around and talking to everybody, and it's you've been in there. It's pretty small in there, so he's making his rounds, and I think we only had one kid at the time, so Hayden was there, and he's like talking to Hayden, engaging with him. Super nice. Brought out some free Bren Cinesticks or whatever they're called. It's like the same dough they use for the pizza, that's like one of my favorite parts of the fucking pizza is that dough is amazing. And then they put like,
me want some bread.
I'm legitimately, because I'm hungover, I'm feeling some bad foods, and pizza is always my post hangover. Like when I start to feel better, I fucking eat a pizza. So I might actually get Bren's before I go home. I'm trying to think what my next two would be. It's like that one is so high on my list that my next one, I mean, fuck, it should just be 1, 2, and 3 is Bren's, honestly. But I really like Dewey's.
Okay.
Dewey's is on the lighter side, so like when I'm feeling like a health pizza, And then what's the fucking one that they have a place in German Village? Is it Harvest?
Harvest. There's one in Clintonville too.
Yeah. They knew Clintonville and they had German Village.
That place is good.
Yeah, Harvest is good. Oh, and I'm gonna add a chain runner up because you talked about some chains. Mod Pizza. Have you had Mod?
No.
Like, oh fuck, it's set up kind of similarly to all these on-demand foods, Chipotle, Qdoba, things like that. You walk in and they get you a little like 10-inch crust or whatever, and they start putting the shit on, and they throw it in, and it's like artesian style crust. So brick oven, fire, flame, all that good stuff. They cook it right there, bring it out. Mod is surprisingly good. I expected it to be a little less good, and I think I was comparing it to Pizza Cucinova.
Oh, yeah.
Same concept. You walk in, you pick all your ingredients. I wanted Pizza Cucinova to be, like, way better than it was. They seem to pop up in, like, hip locations, and they got the aesthetic on the inside's good, and I like the whole artesian style, like, flash-fired crust and all that good stuff. Did you know it's owned by Sbarro?
Really?
That's their Lexus Toyota,
Like you just brought it back around.
Yeah, that's exactly. Brought it back around.
What's your feeling on Mikey's Late Night Slice?
I like Mikey's, but I got really fucking burnt out on it. I used to love when I'd be out and just catch a slice, especially like Woodlands, things like that. Remember they had, do they still have it in there?
I don't think they have it in there. They do have it in Lido's.
Okay,
You can access it from the bar side.
Got it. Okay, so I used to love being out, catch a slice. In hindsight, I don't know. When I really started like having it all the time was they had a permanent location in our work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So what happened was our pizza section in our cafeteria, they got rid of whatever they were providing there, and Mikey's was the permanent pizza. So we had that for I don't know, year, 2 years, something like that. And my wife being vegetarian and me not, it was like the station we could go to and just each get something real quick. That being said, I mean, I think maybe it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I got burnt out.
That's
on it.
fair.
The sauce though.
So good.
Slut sauce.
So good.
Oh my God.
It's unicorn sauce.
Is that what it's called now? See, in my building they called it what the fuck they called it late night sauce.
Yeah.
What's
they got in trouble for that.
Did they?
It's just it wasn't that they got in trouble. It was just people were being prudish about it. That
sucks. That happens far too much though. It's like you want these places to be these hip how the fuck would you describe like places like that? Like what's a good descriptive way to?
I don't know. I mean, it's just your kind of hometown, but like hip. It's like your small businesses of the restaurant world.
Yeah, and another one that is in that same vein is Condado.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're not from here, but they're like, the hip taco joint. We have one up near us now, so we go there for happy hours and stuff. So some artists painted on the inside, as they do all the Condados, and one of them was like, it was like a Virgin Mary, but I think the face was like a taco or something. It was just like, they're condado tacos, and it was like, I don't know what they fucking called it, but a lot of people got really shitty, and the artist had to go back and make it like regular.
That's lame.
Yeah.
Mikey's has on the bottom of their boxes, I think, there's a picture of their little pizza cartoon guy, and it says, "I want to be inside you."
Yes. I know. They did not pass those out at work. Yeah, they came in standard.
Can we talk about Condado for a minute?
Yeah.
I like Condado a lot.
Okay.
And it is a local.
You also have that right by you.
Local to Ohio chain, right?
Yeah.
It's not Columbus, but it's...
No, the first time I had it, I want to say, even if it wasn't the same name and same owners and concept, was up in Lakewood near Cleveland.
Their offices, though, with their test kitchen, are in the bottom of my building now.
I knew that.
And anyway, I like the place a lot, and it's inexpensive and it's a cool atmosphere. But let's be real, man. All it is expensive Taco Bell. You're getting fancy cheesy gordita crunches.
I don't know that I feel that way. I don't know that I feel that way. Taco Bell has really set themselves. They are their own thing. Like, there is no model.
I agree with that.
There's no model like Taco Bell. I'm pretty sure Taco Bell literally carries 8 ingredients in the whole store. And somehow they take those fucking 8 ingredients, and the way that they put them together, they've got 1,100 menu items.
I guess what I'm saying about Condado is that you can't with a straight face say that's Mexican food.
Oh, no. No. That'd be like calling Chipotle Mexican food.
Also, while we're on that subject, Qdoba's way better than Chipotle.
It depends on what you get, but I'm with you. And for the listeners that think, oh, this one's better than that one, what you have to do is definitely don't go in one and try to order the same thing as the other. That's the fucking mistake that everybody that I talk to that doesn't like it, that's what they do. They're like, oh, I tried to order the same thing as Qdoba. I'm like, or at Chipotle or whatever. Not the same fucking place. You got to order something different. What's your go-to menu? Like, what's your go-to thing from Qdoba?
I mean, I do generally a no, I don't do a steak burrito there. I do with the adobo chicken, like the spiced chicken.
So I do chicken, but I gotta have the queso.
Their queso is 100 times better than Chipotle's.
Chipotle's doesn't even rank.
Chipotle needs to take their queso. I still put queso on my burrito at Chipotle.
You do?
For sure.
Not me.
But man, they need to take that shit and they need to dump it down the trash.
Yeah, I got it for free as a sample. Like, they just gave me a little bit of it, and I felt like they ripped me off.
It's like grainy.
It was free. I don't know. No,
Chipotle, if you're out there.
Yeah, man. You got to step that queso game up.
Just give us free Chipotle, and we'll happily test your...
That's what we'll do. If you keep sending us new iterations, of queso, we'll let you know if it's going up or going down.
See, that's the thing is, when it comes, you said, so pizza's your thing.
Yep.
That's your deal.
Absolutely.
For me, it's Mexican food.
Really?
That's so when I say Bren's is like among my favorite pizza, but the Tres Amigos.
Okay.
Because
you're bringing the two worlds together.
Bringing the two worlds together. Yeah, I am. It drives Sierra crazy because she's like, "What do you want to get for dinner?" Don't say Mexican. Because it's always. And I do not discriminate. I happily eat Taco Bell.
Yeah, no, I will do.
I happily eat Condado. Mm-hmm. But I also, we have among the best traditional tacos in the country, in this city. Los Guachos Taqueria.
Is that over Bethel
and Go Down?
Yeah.
You get the Al Pastor there. Woo.
Yeah, no, I've tried to turn people on to that place from work. You know what? I feel like a lot of my coworkers, they know each other and have, historical that history.
Yeah.
So I'll come in like, no, you need to go to this place or that place. They don't listen to me. They just don't listen to me. But speaking of coworkers, one of my coworkers now is from your area, and you must be friends with him on social media because he mentioned we were all eating some ice cream cake for somebody's last day. We're standing up, and they asked, "Hey, what are you guys doing this week?" And I said, "Just filming episode 2 of this podcast." And he turns and goes, "Oh, that's you on that with Colin?" And I'm like, oh, that's right. You know Colin. So it's managed to reach people in our coworkers. It's managed to reach my coworkers, but by way of you.
We're talking about the coworker who left my company and went
Yeah.
to yours? Yeah. Miss you.
Yeah, I totally forgot that.
I was his boss.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think when I first met him and he said he was from there, I sent you a message and said, hey, looks like we stole another one. Because it's not the first person.
Nope.
Not the first person to come over.
Nope. Miss you, bud.
So I'm going to take this second and pivot to one of our things we talked about last time, which are trivial things that annoy us. I know that there's no shortage of them. And I'll go ahead and kick it off with something. So something that annoys me is being 36 and still having to worry about pimples. And it shouldn't bother me. It's like, who am I trying to impress? I have a wife, you know, like I've already locked that shit down. Like I shouldn't be worried about it. But what I mean by pimples is I shave my head, clearly, right? I'm probably getting a nice 5600 Kelvin glow off these lights. I shave my head, and it's like I never cared about pimples. Come on, man. You know what that is.
It's just funny.
Yeah, you know what that is.
Especially after our education conversation last week, the fact that you dropped the word Kelvin.
I'll tell you why I know all that shit in a minute. But yeah, so like I worry about getting pimples, and it's not on my face. It's like on my head. It's way more annoying if I get a random pimple. And then I start thinking like, okay, well maybe you should stop fucking wearing hats all the time. I wear hats all the goddamn time. So I'm trying this whole like, I'm just trying to like wear a lot less hats right now. Because when I get those pimples, I can't help but look at them and think like, it looks like Braille. It fucking looks like Braille. Like people are going to go touch my head and I'm going to send messages I don't mean to send. Like my fucking head is ADA compliant. I know you know what that means. For the people out there that don't, it's fucking.
What's the contrast ratio between pimple and skin?
Oh my god.
Does it meet ADA?
Yeah.
Regulations?
It has a color and a pattern. I know. I've had to do so much. I've had to do so much with that recently, so it's like fresh on my mind. So when I see those bumps, I'm just like, you know what? I feel like I should take a picture of this and put it online and actually figure out if that says anything. If I'm just like fucking telling people to go fuck themselves with pimple Braille on my head.
Yeah, I feel it, man. I've always had really bad skin, and it has not gone away. And I'm in my mid-30s, and I thought it would have by this point.
Yeah.
The difference is I can't grow shit. I can't grow beard, so I can't hide it. And I wish I could. Okay. But I can't. So, but it's an interesting thing for me is, one thing I think about getting older or reaching midlife as we are is
yeah, that's
I don't want to say that. I was behind a Ferrari the other day in Upper Arlington, and I was looking at this asshole, and I was like, I hope when I hit midlife crisis, I've got fuck you money.
Yeah, we're in our third life crisis.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to live you know.
Anyway, you start to get more in tune with your body. You know, like when you're younger, you don't pay attention to stuff like that. So there's just things like, oh man, this is happening. That means I'm deficient in such and such. Yeah, you know what I mean. I notice if I'm like breaking out like crazy, that means you're drinking too much.
Really?
Yeah, I took a month off. I took a month off the sauce at the beginning of the year, and it was just like gone. Like my face was clear. Huh. So it's a really good indicator for me that like a really good immediate physical indicator that I'm drinking too much is when I break out really bad.
So do you think that means you're allergic to something?
I don't know. Skin problems run in my family too, so who knows?
God damn, you guys are just a bunch of predictable stimulus.
Predictable stimulus. So we're right at the hour mark. Dang.
We're right at the hour mark. I think
I feel like we've been a little bit more on subject today.
That was definitely the takeaway. So I listened to it a couple times just to try and hear, because for those of you out there, we had no fucking plan going into that last episode. We just pretty much set up some shit we started talking and we were making ourselves laugh and we were like, oh shit, we should just start recording. So we did. We started fucking recording. We didn't really have a lot of planning or preparation. And I think this time that was one of my takeaways was don't fucking start 1100. So why do I keep using 1100? I keep using 1100 for everything. Like every time I need to tell you like a large number that's just like an exorbitant number, it's like 1100. I don't know why I fucking do that. But anyway, it's don't keep starting a bunch of stories and never tying them in, because I heard so many little things in there last time that I was like, I really wish I would have dove more into that. But what the fuck, you can't just this is episode 2, the follow-up, you know what I mean?
My buddy was 20 minutes in and said, I'm very confused right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I had several people tell me like, oh, you guys had a lot of, it felt very natural. Although you did start a lot of stories that not all of them concluded. There was one, I wish I could think of which one it is. And, I took some notes in my phone, and because I'm using my phone to record this video, not really sure what it is. But there's one in particular where I fucking, like mid-story, dude, it was like, pew! Like we just went the opposite way, never went back. I don't know what the fuck it was. I'm hoping we get some clips out of this, put some stuff on YouTube. If you haven't picked this up already, our cadence for this is we're trying to keep it to every 2 weeks. Wednesday, the new podcast will drop on all the major platforms. We finally got approval on iTunes. So iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all the major ones. And then we'll put the clips up throughout the week and the video up on Friday on YouTube. That could change. I might just sync all this shit up. I don't know. I did that because I don't know anything about how to do any of this, and I was like, I need to give myself that little buffer window, Like, let's record this shit on Sunday. That gives me until Wednesday to fucking figure out how to get the audio sounding good and right and, put that up. And then that gives me a little extra time until Friday to get the video all synced up, because I had a nightmare of a time trying to get the video to sync. And I found out it was somehow related to image stabilization on my phone's video.
Oh, yeah, you said that.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Yeah.
What have you been listening to lately?
Oh, God.
Anything new?
Yeah, so you asked me in passing last week, had I heard the new Bury Your Dead track. I had not heard it at that point. I made it a point to listen to it when I was leaving from the last podcast. And if you could see my fucking Spotify history, you'd probably see that track 10 times a day.
That mosh part is so hard at the end.
You know what? It's funny you said, that's not the part for me. The fucking chorus.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That is the heaviest, that is the most perfect chorus. I wanted them to do, they have to do that part. Like, if another band did that, in that part, I wouldn't have liked it as much, but fuck, I am so excited. I hope the whole album is just full of shit that makes me relive that entire period of time.
I mean, talk about, being, what is that? Talk about being a little older. And do you fuck with Knocked Loose?
Absolutely.
So I want to preface this by saying I'm not talking shit at all, because I think Knocked Loose fucking slaps. I think that shit is so hard. It's some of the heaviest hardcore I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And they're on tour right now with the Acacia Strain and Harm's Way, and I can't imagine what that tour is like.
Yeah. No,
I'm not talking shit by any means, but it is just so funny to me. Like, they put out a new EP on Friday, and the songs jam. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm jealous of a lot of the riffs. I listen to it, and I can't help but think, man, it's like, I can put on, like, Bury Your Dead Camo is my favorite color from 2002. And it's the same style.
Oh, yeah. That whole style started coming back very hard.
And it's just crazy to me. Like, everybody talks about bands like that, like it's like this cool new thing. And it's like, no, man, like, this beatdown shit has been happening for 20 years now.
Absolutely.
And there is stuff, like, I listened to that first Bury Your Dead record the other day, and it still holds up. To be honest with you, even that shit they did that sounds like Seven Dust holds up. This is my personal opinion. I can get down with the new metal stuff, though.
Oh, me too. I mean, well, so here's the thing. We showed up today. Colin sends me a text. He goes, hey, can I bring my new guitar? I want to play it on your rig. This is my rig back here. It's a Kemper of an orange cab. It's fucking heavy. Like, this is it sounds heavy as fuck. The first time you heard it was last episode, and I think we spent about 20 minutes just fucking playing breakdowns, like just passing the guitar back and forth and playing breakdowns. Like, it was disgusting. And the fact that it has the option to drop, like via pedal, just drop octaves, I don't even know. I have no idea what I'm dropping to. Like, I see the number turning and I'm like, oh, that's A, or that's G, okay. And then it gets to a point where I'm like, I don't know what's down there. That's like drop
Z.
4.
Drop 4.
Yeah, it's like when you're done dropping letters,
man.
you're just dropping numbers, or like drop and then a symbol, like just the fucking less than symbol.
Have you ever heard the band Torch?
Yes, you're a big fan of them, right?
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
They have this is proprietary info, but it's on YouTube now. But they have a tuning they call Drop Z, and where basically he takes his guitar and the guitar itself is in drop A from the second string up.
Okay.
So pretend it's a 7th string.
Yep.
Without the
But then it's
string.
got what? Oh, okay.
But then the lowest string. So he's in drop A.
Sure.
Playing the second lowest string. I am not a guitar player, so I don't talk like a guitar player. So sorry.
Me either.
But the low string is tuned to nothing. So the string's like flopping. Like no tune. I mean, like literally just nothing. But when he's got, the full on rig and hits that and it's like
okay.
I mean, and they call it the bomb string or drop Z. I mean, that shit is so crazy.
Wow. To go back to what we were talking about with the guitar, though.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. We just got done talking about how we'd go into fucking stories and never go back to them. But look at me, I'm bringing us back to one.
Bringing us back.
So Colin texts me. He goes, "Hey, I got a new guitar. I want to play it through your rig because the rig was heavy as fuck." I'm like, "Cool." Shows up. He pulls out this 7-string, and the first thing I think of, and I don't say it because I'm like, he's gonna judge me if I say this. I'll fucking play Blind on that thing. I will fucking play Blind on that thing, and I will play Counterfeit by Limp Bizkit.
Spoiler alert: I played Clown.
Oh, absolutely. So he's playing around, he's digging around. I'm like setting up some shit in here, and then I hear jun, 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 jun. I was like, whoa, he did it. So then I felt good knowing that I had a partner in nu metal. In here, and was going to hold me down with some nu metal riffs while I casually set up equipment.
Let's talk about nu metal for a minute. Let's talk about, because a thing that's very interesting to me, and I think we saw this starting around with bands like Bury Your Dead, a lot of the Orange County bands, 18 Visions, bands like that, Throwdown. All of a sudden we're making it, this was like 04, 05, all of a sudden it was okay again to play single note stuff. It wasn't okay in metalcore or hardcore. It wasn't okay to do single note shit, that really low twangy stuff. And then all of a sudden it was just like, there's heaviness for mosh parts that we haven't tapped into, and that heaviness is nu metal.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it became huge. And now it's like that band Vane. I don't know if you've heard that band, that metalcore band Vane. It sounds like Roadrunner Records in 1999.
Have you heard of a band called, I'm hoping this is the right name, Fire from the Gods?
I've heard the name.
Okay. Randomly fucking stumbled upon them on YouTube. I was down a YouTube rabbit hole looking for new melodic hardcore, in which I stumbled upon this treasure trove of bands. And that's the thing with melodic hardcore, is it can sound the same, a lot of it, but I love that genre. I love that style. So like all that is for me is more music. I give two shits about somebody sounding or being influenced by another band. So I find this treasure trove of hardcore bands from this UK label. And then over here on the right, you got your, you might also like this, or what's next. And it was like Fire from the Gods. I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm committed at this point. I'm like an hour in listening to bands that I've never heard before. I throw that shit on, and it sounds like modern day POD. So, but everything was, I don't want to say it was better, right? Because that's relative to the time. Like, of course it's better than something that came out 10, 15 years ago. But it's got that like djenty kind of like guitar with it. But there's a guy rapping, but then he's like singing choruses. And I was like Oh my God, I'm about to get all the way back into nu metal again if the rest of the album is this good. It wasn't all as good as that track, and I'm actually kind of pissed off of that track because after I listened to that, the next shit it queued up for me was like some of the worst shit I've ever heard, and it just absolute garbage. I realized how many garbage nu metal bands are out there.
And that's the thing. That's the thing with like when I tell people, because I feel like I've come full circle. That's what I was getting at, is that like I grew up with, I mean, Korn, Limp Bizkit, all of the greats. But
Cold Chamber?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Big Truck.
It's you know, but you go through that phase where you're too cool for it.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know, we both went through our scenester metalcore guy phase, and where it's like, oh no, that stuff's lame, you know, and you're just too cool for it. And I definitely came full circle, and it was just like, no, man, like what attracted me to this stuff in the first place is like you listen to Korn's first record, which my father-in-law got for me on vinyl, like 180 gram vinyl. I mean, it's nice.
See, you're such a vinyl guy.
And it sounds good on vinyl too. But you listen to Korn's first record, and yeah, are the lyrics so juvenile? Yes.
Yeah.
Are there parts of it that are so silly? I'm sorry, get the fucking bagpipes out of here.
Right.
But like,
dude, now Chris Tapman he's disliking this because you said get the bagpipes out of here.
Chris Tapman, get the fucking bagpipes out of here. But you know, there's this rawness to it. Absolutely. And it is these were guys that were playing heavy shit that nobody heard before. And they were also like really influenced by like Godflesh and like real heavy bands and stuff like that. You know, and there's this raw energy to it and this really raw emotion to it that I can't deny. And I feel like I came full circle, and it's like, I'm totally cool with it again. You know, we could put a link somewhere in this podcast too. I have a Spotify playlist that is good nu metal.
Okay.
That I've curated, and there's even some stuff on there that I've gotten hassled because it's not officially nu metal, like some late era 18 Visions shit.
Okay.
And Tower of Snakes is a nu metal song. I'm sorry, guys. But
yeah. Okay. So yes, I will drop that for sure. I'm going to drop the link in the YouTube video. I've also been talking about doing maybe like a site where we can fucking coordinate all this bullshit together and really reel it in, because I would love to put up links to some of the things we talk about and stuff like that to kind of coincide. Maybe I'll start doing that on the Instagram, but I don't think I was ever too cool for nu metal. I just was too cool to play nu metal. Like, I wanted to play, I don't want to say I wanted to play whatever was popping, but I did not want to play something that definitely was looked at as, you know, how nu metal was looked at, like, oh my God, fucking trash, right? So I wasn't too cool for it. I never stopped jamming that shit. And I think it's funny you say, we talked about Chris Tapman for a second, but like, that dude is all the way, he loves nu metal. He'll fucking front like he doesn't, but he loves nu metal. And I talk to him all the time about that shit.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, fucking love it.
I mean, and I feel like there's more and more of us that as we get into our mid-30s and just kind of reflect on our musical upbringing and stuff like that, that it's just like I owe just as much to Monkey as I do to Kurt Ballou from Converge in the way I write songs. You know, I owe just as much to, you know, the dudes in POD, the way they structure songs, the way they approach riffs, the way they approach song structure. I mean, it's just crazy.
I caught a random YouTube video of Brian Welch, Head, from Korn, explaining their writing process a long time ago. And he actually said, like, all those crazy chords that they got, they just lifted that straight from Mr. Bungle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, we heard that shit, and, like, that was it. We knew what we were doing, which is tight. I love...
Speaking of his Head's Christian stuff, like, he's got a band called, like, Life After Death or something like that.
Yeah, which he left Korn for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
Is it? See, yeah. I never gave it a shot. I honestly didn't.
It's just like, it's heavy. It is definitely like second-rate Korn. I mean, it's like more blitz rocky, but it's heavy and the songs are crafted well, and I'm sure there was working with songwriters and stuff like that. But
well, when you're at that level, that's
when you're at that fucking level.
You know what I'm saying?
Get me to that place. I will happily ghostwrite any new metal song for any band. Hit me up.
So, I'm a fan of doing covers, doing joke stuff. I'm a fan of all that, right? I'm big advocate for all that shit. And I wanted to do a new metal band because I mean, honestly, like I feel like I could write a new metal record in like a day or two. It's just the way the songs flow. Like they have a specific format to them. And that single note noodly shit just sounds good. Like no matter what you do, like I feel like I can write an old new metal record in just a couple days. And if I did that, I'd want to play a couple shows, at least one or two.
I'm in that band.
Okay, good. That's where I was going with this. So I've already told my other drummer. I've told Mark that he's in. Like he already understands. He don't want to do it, but he's in because he could figure it out and play whatever I fucking do in like 2 days.
I mean, to be fair, Crush Effect was pretty new metal.
They misspelled their name, right? EFEKT.
I mean, they were a solid death metal band. They were a solid groove metal, but there was definitely a little new in there.
Yeah.
Wink.
Oh, wait a minute. So Mark also in Bent?
I have no idea. This is before my time.
I fucking think Mark was in Bent. And if I'm remembering correctly, they had some ultra new metal, and obviously like I was super hype on it. You know, had my big pants on, the kick wears talked about in the last episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to call it Jumpy Boiz. Jumpy Boiz. It's Boiz. Jumpy Boiz. And it's obviously because of the jumping and the kicking, the shit kicking that leg back and forth. You start that thing up, you start going in circles.
Hold the guitar up like this.
Oh, that's bass though, right?
The
guitarist did it too?
Look.
Oh
your
yeah.
eyes back in your head.
Yeah.
Eyes back in your head. Truthfully, you know, I didn't really come to terms with it for a couple of years until a couple of years ago. But like, Maranatha, my band, I described it as new doom at one point. Like, I am pretty open with the fact that like a lot of my riffs came straight lifted from my new metal days.
Yeah.
But fuck it, man, this shit is heavy.
You're an interesting musician because when I met you, I think it was you were playing bass, right? And then when I met you, it was like your first show on drums.
Really?
I think so. Wasn't the Warehouse show like one of your first?
Very well could have been.
Yeah, I think it was right around that time. It was when you were switching over to drums, and now you do vocals and guitar.
Yeah.
So you've really taken it full circle. What do you like playing the most? And what are the pros and cons of each?
You know, it's weird. I don't know what I like playing the most. I like doing vocals the least.
Really?
In fact, most of our new material, we have 7 songs. We have 7 songs done right now, and I do main vocals in 2 of them.
Who does the other
Jack, my bass player, does most of the vocals. And he did about half of our last record, and he's doing about 3/4 of this one. Just because I'm not a very good vocalist, for one. I will be the first to admit that. I think it sounds okay. But I go back and forth between the guitar and the drums. I really like playing the guitar because I really like writing riffs that I want to hear. Simple as that. I mean, just fucking around before we got together, I was just like, man, I wrote 2 new Acacia Strain songs. My boy Devin. But you know, I love playing guitar and I love writing guitar riffs. I really love playing the drums though. I'm a little out of practice right now, but like I really, really love playing the drums. You know, a few months ago, I filled in on bass in Northern Widows, and they're like rest in peace Northern Widows, but they were like I always described them as coalesce playing black metal, and just playing bass. I didn't have anything to do with those songs, writing them, anything like that, and it was really hard stuff for me to play. But I played a couple shows, and that was so fun. Just playing bass and not having to think about any other thing other than I'm just on stage to play this music that I crash course memorized.
Yeah.
So like that's super cool. So I go back and forth. I like them both. Now I will say, now that I don't, other than demoing songs at home when I'm writing stuff to show to the band, now that I don't play drums at all in Maranatha, because before I still did drums in the studio, it took a little while for me to let go.
Yeah.
You know, Wes, my drummer, is the best drummer I've ever played with, and love playing with that guy. Love what he brings to the table. But it was still really hard for me to say, no, this is for him to write now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
because I have an idea in my head of what I want drums to sound like, but I do not want to feel like I'm dictating what a drummer who's way better than me is playing.
Yeah. He's a really fucking good drummer. On the flip side of that, he's got another band, The End of the Ocean,
Yeah.
which is on at the house like multiple times a week. My daughter is all about it. She'll sit there and just like rock to fucking all their albums.
The band deserves every ounce of respect and clout
Absolutely.
that they get.
I agree.
That band has worked their asses off.
Absolutely. And that's another one. Like, he plays, like the drummer Wes plays in your band, which is like heavy as fuck, fast music. In the Ocean is all instrumental. And then you got Kevin, who's got a million side hobbies and things going on. Did you ever pick up any of his cables?
I didn't. I'm meaning to, though, because I'm starting to build a pedal board. So.
Oh, nice. I have some pedals and things that you might want to.
You should have brought that pedal.
I should have. Yeah, the Decimator pedal.
Oh well.
No, he. I was. Look at you. You're just tearing shit up. I talked to him a little bit about making me a new cable for the Kemper. I want to get like a shorter one than what fucking came with it. But, so back to covers and music.
Sorry.
No, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. Do you do any covers?
We don't. We talked about.
No. Do you do any?
Do
covers?
I do any covers?
Yeah. Have you been associated with any covers?
No.
No? Why? Is that a personal thing, or you just haven't gotten around to it?
If by associated with covers, you mean my wife telling me, "Can you please stop playing those 3 Crowbar riffs over and over again?" Then yes, associated.
You were
with,
playing the Crowbar riff this morning too.
That was literally
same riff?
I have played that so many times. Those riffs so many times, just because it's like so fun to play.
Yeah.
And so there's certain riffs like that Crowbar song, which is I can't even think of the name of the fucking song right now, but Corrosion of Conformity, Albatross I play all the time. You know, like there's like certain like riffs that I play all the fucking time.
Yeah.
That drives my wife up the walls.
Well, because would you have like obviously you have an amp. You have your amp, like your.
Oh, I got the whole fucking rig.
You have the whole
home.
fucking rig at home. Jesus. Okay, and you got
I don't
that,
play it that loud, but yeah.
And it's down in the basement or something.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I can imagine you can hear that throughout. Because I have the little one. I'm not, even though I do have a rig at home, but I play primarily through my computer, and I keep it pretty low.
Do you guys keep a quiet house?
Not really. Like, there's no such thing as a quiet house, like when you have kids and dogs.
Yeah, but
when she goes to bed,
you guys are those people that kind of like.
We got to a little bit, like, because she's such a good sleeper, but like, she'll sleep all the way through the night, but then if you wake her up, it's like someone's ass got to get up with her, and I don't really want it to be me.
We're loud people.
Just all the time.
In general, like, we're really, like, we both grew up in really loud households, a lot of yelling. Everyone's yelling all the time. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
My house is a single-parent household with 4 kids and lots of screaming. And my wife's house was just very similar. And so we're just loud people. We're yelling a lot. The kids are yelling across the house. Oh, boy. If they're playing Fortnite together, though, and they're in 2 separate rooms,
yeah,
that drives me fucking crazy.
Because they yell back and forth?
Quit yelling across the house. Go. We have 10 couches in this house. Go sit down on next to each other.
But are they both on a device that's portable, or is one on like a computer?
No, they're both on portable devices.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so, yeah, we both come from really loud houses. So when we had kids, it was like, we used to, like, our neighbor, it was actually, she was in our wedding, and my wife was, her and her husband roommate for a while, right when they had their kid, and their house was just so quiet all the time when the kid was asleep. Like, and more power to you and your style of parenting, but no way, man. I am not about to let a kid's sleep pattern rule my life. Yeah, it's selfish. It is not putting my kids first. I understand this, but we made a point to like slam doors, run the vacuum cleaner, blast music, all that shit, like
stuff like that,
because like I want my kids to be able to sleep.
Yeah,
and I don't want to feel like I just like my life shuts down because my kid's asleep.
I agree. No, I guess when you phrase it some of the ways that you just did and mention some of the examples of how you don't attempt to stay quiet, honestly, I think we do a lot of that as well. I think the one thing is like when we're right outside her door upstairs, we try not to yell or yell
Well,
down.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so then it sounds like for the most part we do the same thing. We still watch TV and the dogs are fucking raging and Hayden's downstairs.
Luckily the way our house is shaped too, it's like the hangout wing and the sleeping wing, and there's actually like a doorway in between and stuff.
You make it sound like you live in the fucking White House. Is your house white?
It's gray.
Ah, shit.
We're actually about to paint it black, though. So,
see, now that is the shit that you can get away with that I cannot get away with because HOAs.
Oh, yeah. You live in, like, a community.
Yeah, I live in a fucking community that has no sense of community. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
you have to pay a bunch of money, too?
There is a yearly HOA due, but it's because we have, like, ponds and fountains and shit, and, like, someone has to upkeep that, right?
Do they mow your lawn for you?
They do not. It's not a condo. We do mow our own lawn. Well, we don't do shit. I mow our lawn. We're looking into getting a patio, and I'm like pushing to get a bigger patio because that means less like yard to mow. I don't know if that's like a good thing or bad thing, but I wanted this yard so bad. And then the very first time.
We are both within a year or so of being able to pass that baton off lawn mowing.
Absolutely. He still has trouble like pushing the mower. I can't describe it. And it even has like a little squeezy handle thing to where like you squeeze the handle and the fucking wheels turn and it helps you go. I'm like, this mower should be going by itself. Technology is going to get us there though. Because you know how they got Roombas and shit? They have one for your yard now.
I don't get it. It's crazy.
What, you don't get it like you don't like it?
No, I don't get it like how that would actually do a good job. I trust it.
Have you ever used a Roomba?
Yeah, I don't have a Roomba, but I do have a motorized thing.
Yeah, okay. So a little fucking thing that goes around and cleans up, does a decent job, right?
Yeah.
Okay, boom, same fucking thing, but cuts grass. Have you seen it? I think it's made by like Husqvarna. I want to get one because I want to incorporate all the technology just all the time, and I think this kind of goes back to what we said earlier in kids and how they're gonna grow up in this age. They think they can fucking talk to and swipe on everything. Like there's fridges. Is that slang? Or is that refrigerators?
Fridges.
Fridges? Okay, it sounds
really weird.
Sounds super fucking weird when I just said it, so I thought I was about to get super called out for something dumb. But there's ones that have like the screens in them and shit like that, and they can swipe on it. And it leads me to like wonder, like, all these sci-fi movies and things that predicted all of this shit, did they predict it knowing what technology was there? Or did we see that and go, fuck, now we have to do that? Because now, was that like, you think that was a way to like put shit out there and see what people locked onto and really wanted?
You know, I think it's both.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, especially as somebody, I'm a designer, I'm an interface designer. So like my job is to, and I work for a research company. So my job is to design things that are innovative and novel. Yeah, we got like an hour and a half. We're on like an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, man. That means that video has stopped for 3 seconds at least once.
My job involves a lot of kind of future vision kind of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting how much we, as interface designers, call back to things we see in movies. So it's a bit of both. You have stuff like Black Mirror, where it's like, this stuff is very believable. This is technology that semi-exists now that could quickly turn into this scary shit, whatever that episode's about.
Right.
But then there's other things that are purely visionary. It's purely some artistic designer who's come up with a thing where Tony Stark in the air crumples up something and throws it in the trash.
Sure.
Or puts his arm in a thing that makes a 3D image around his arm. It's like we're not far away from that anymore. And so I think it's both. I think there is a level of people saying, "Oh, let's make this technology work because that makes a lot of sense." But there's also just visionary thinking. Mm. You know what I mean? So I think it's both. It's very fascinating, the fact that because technological process is also exponential. So the amount of advances we've made technologically in the last 3 years is probably equal to the previous 30 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's just a curve.
I agree.
So we're probably much closer to a AI singularity than we know, but I think that's I'm shifting this in a really deep direction, but I also think that's going to be our next economic crisis in America is automation taking people's jobs.
Absolutely.
Like over the next even 6 months, I think we're going to see a huge shift.
Yeah, so that could be its own fucking conversation for sure.
Yeah, we'll table that one.
We'll table that. We won't go into that, but I agree. People demanding higher wages for seemingly minuscule tasks are going to automate themselves right out of jobs. They're going to drive that demand. People are going to say, "Oh, you want that? Well, fuck. We've been holding on to this manual process for X amount of time, keeping these lower wages for people that want to have these certain jobs. We'll just automate it. We'll do it for fucking pennies on the dollar, and then boom, now they don't have it." We'll table that, like you said, and come back.
What's a technology though from a movie that you're thinking of that is something that's like, man, let's do this?
Well, I think when anybody's asked that question, they immediately go to flying cars.
Yeah.
But me, I want that fucking hoverboard from Back to the Future.
There you go.
I want a real hoverboard. I don't want a goddamn board that I stand on that has 2 wheels that I lean this way or that way. What they were calling hoverboards? No. I want, we got the shoes. We got the self-lacing shoes. Nike did us some justice. Give me that hoverboard. That's what I want.
I feel that.
Yeah. I've always wondered, because when I watch that, I think about all the things, because I used to skateboard. So I think about the things what the fuck is propelling that? What's keeping that off the ground, right? And then, does that mean I can't do a kickflip? Because if I fucking flip it this way, is it going to, catch my nuts on fire or some kind of crazy shit?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Would a hoverboard be only for travel? No tricks?
So because we come from these types of worlds, I can probably say the term MVP to you.
Yes.
Minimum viable product.
I hate that term, but yes.
I mean, okay. We're just going to leave it at that. We disagree on that and
Jira.
Jira.
He works for an agile house, and I'm not really down with that.
Yeah, I tried to get him to use
but whatever.
I tried to get him to use the either Jira or Trello to help manage this fucking podcast, and he scoffed at me. No, I think that the initial product would probably be some form of, it takes you from A to B. I mean, you look at these people that are building the e-skateboards and things like that. They're just standing on a board. It's like a long board. They stand on it. It's got a motor. They can control shit from their phone. And
these things are fast too.
Yeah, some of them are fucking really fast. Shout out to Ben. Ben, my buddy Ben Brown is big into that and tinkers and builds his own and stuff. And at one point he had this video where he programmed some drone to follow him, and so this drone is following him, and he's weaving through a park and stuff, and the drone's just following him. I'm just like,
so that brings me back to what the technology I would like to see from a movie is. Have you seen Blade Runner 2049?
I have not.
The newest one?
No, you're gonna notice that I haven't heard any music and I haven't seen any movie. So go on, tell us about it.
Blade Runner 2049 was the best movie that came out last year, or the year it came out, either 2017 or 2018. In my opinion, was the best movie. You should watch it because it's awesome. Even if you haven't seen old Blade Runner movies, it's awesome. Anyway, the nerds are gonna come hard on me on that one. The original Blade Runner, not old Blade Runner movies, as if there was more than one. Sorry, but he has a flying car thing that's whatever, and he parks at this place, and he talks to this drone that basically comes out of the top of the car, and he goes, "You keep watch." And he walks into this house, and the drone is just kind of raises up from the car and starts looking around, and he just orders it to do stuff, and it's like basically his personal assistant.
Okay.
That, I think, like a drone that is quiet and not, but something that acts like Siri or Google or Alexa that I can just order around. And speaking of Siri, I had a funny conversation with her last night, but
I don't have a lot to say about that. I think that was like the closing. I told you I want the hoverboard. You can see like we definitely, you have a functional thing. You have like something you want to provide a function. And I'm just like, I want to fucking rip around on a hoverboard. Like, I'm such a kid compared to yours. But let's just wrap that up and go on.
Let me put this little anecdote out here from Siri last night, where my wife and I are sitting there out on a patio at a bar and celebrating our anniversary, and we were talking and something that I wanted to look up. So I asked, I can't even remember what it was, but I was like, "Hey Siri, blah blah blah." Oh, I'm surprised she didn't wake up when I said that. I was like, "Hey Siri, what's blankety blank?" She literally said to me, "I don't really know." And I literally
that's it.
Looked at my phone. I said, in this voice, I was like, "Well, can you Google it?"
So you guys
she goes, "Here's what I found on Google." Like, she did. Like,
wow. Like she copped an attitude. Like, Siri copped an attitude.
She goes, "I don't know."
And then you copped an attitude back.
Oh man.
So you guys are on not the best terms right now. She's gonna just stop doing shit for you.
When the singularity happens and the robot uprising starts and humans are taken down, I will be crucified because of the atrocities that I have said, not only to Siri, but just to technology in general. The amount of times I've been frustrated with a slow computer opening a big Photoshop file, and I've leaned into my computer and be like, "You fucking bitch, I hate you so much."
See,
Man,
it knows it has an ally in me.
The machines are going to kill me first.
Okay. Fair enough. Me, not so much.
Because I don't have patience.
I don't have patience either, but I will make excuses of why it's human error of why the machine's not working. Like, me and machines are like this, apparently.
I have a story about this, and this actually might be a good thing to kind of, we're at an hour and 45 minutes or something like that. We could probably start winding down. This kind of brings it back to kids with technology.
Yeah.
Is voice recognition obviously is getting really, really good. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of bad examples. There's a lot of good examples. Get in any car and use a voice recognition system, and it's a bad example. But get any new phone, and VR is amazing for the most part. The thing is, though, and this shows a big difference between our generation and our kids' generation, is yes, we had this generation where we had all this technology first. We saw it, we have really high expectations for technology because we know what it was like without it.
Right.
So if I say something to Siri and she doesn't understand what I'm saying, I get angry. I'm like, "No, you don't." Like, I said blah blah blah. Like, you say it louder and firmer, and I'm just getting mad, and then she doesn't hear it again. Fuck it, I'm just gonna type it. You know what I mean? And we just
you're treating her like a person.
We just get so mad about it. Our kids, they grew up with this technology. It's the only thing they know. So they understand its limitations innately. We understand its limitations, but we expect more out of it. They understand its limitations and are okay with that. So if my kids search for something, like search for a YouTube video, and Siri doesn't understand what they said, they stop and they say it slower and clearer. Mm-hmm. Like, it's amazing to me to watch, because they don't get mad at voice recognition technology like we do.
So when you say voice recognition, so there's voice recognition, there's speech recognition. So
same difference.
Well, not really, because voice recognition is used more for doing things. It's recognizing the tonal qualities of your voice and doing things based on you as a person. So, like, when I talk to Google, I say, "Hey, put this on my shopping list." It does, and it puts it on Jeff's shopping list. When my wife says it, or she'll say, or like if we want to make a phone call, it knows our voices. So if I say make a phone call and I say call wife, it calls from my phone, Bluetooth. It calls her from my phone. If she says it, it calls me from her phone.
That's some genius little shit.
Yeah, and then so speech recognition is the ability to recognize speech. There's no actual security or anything there. It's like it just recognizes like dialect and says, oh, they're saying this word, write this word down. Voice recognition, though, is what they would use for like security stuff. Like sometimes when you call into places, you can unlock things with your voice or voice passcodes. I know that when I'm driving, if my phone is locked, I can tell my phone to unlock, and it uses my voice mapping or whatever to essentially be a password and unlock my phone. So I mean, it's crazy, but it is funny to watch, and this goes hand in hand with what I said. I make excuses for the machines. Google picks up me and everything I say fucking flawlessly. I've never had anything be so accurate as the Google one. My wife, on the other hand, it misses about 60% of what she tells it to do. Like, conditions have to fucking be perfect. And I'm like, damn, that's why I identify you, Google, because I miss about 60% of what she says too.
Weird.
Yeah, so maybe it's a wife thing and it's not a Google thing. See, and then I'm like, no, you didn't say it right. Like, you got to talk to it. It can't hear you. And she's like, well, you're fucking sitting right next to me, and like you said something and it heard you. And I'm like, it's hard to argue with that, but I'm just going to be out here making excuses for the machines. Machines, y'all know you got an ally in me. I've loved robots for a long time. I buy all your new fucking versions of all your new little Tinker toys. Holler at me when you're ready to fucking
on
do
the
some
converse.
cool shit.
On the converse of that, though, machines, you do not have an ally in me. You are here to serve me, and you are here to augment my life.
You're creating machine slavery.
Good.
I don't know. See, you're gonna create the problem that
I'm gonna create the problem that gets us all killed.
You're gonna fucking create the problem, and I'm gonna be over here just like, no, trying to make excuses for you. Like, I need them for the podcast. Don't fucking karate chop them in half. All right, man. So what do you think on that? Wrap it up?
Yeah. We actually, like I said, stuck on topic today for the most part.
Yeah, we tried. It'll be interesting to see if anybody even fucking likes us when we don't tell stories of our youth and skipping school and Bone Thugs and Girl Jeans. So, all right. See you guys.
Peace out.
Heckin' Cool Dads Podcast, episode 2.